Hey fellow patriots, Bravo Echo here from Hope for Survival. I wanted to take a few minutes of time to do a quick um, podcast video to share a few thoughts with you in reference to current events and the upcoming election. Two specific areas I want to hit on is preparedness and you. And as you may have caught on the news or may have lived through it, while we're waiting on the upcoming election and the unknowns to election day and rumors of violence and so forth, and who will be the victor, um, folks are watching that. But in the meantime, we had a hurricane hit the Gulf Coast quickly, and the remnants of that hurricane swept through Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and on up the coast. And while everyone's focused on Tuesday, over 1 million people in Georgia alone and North Carolina and some other areas, folks lost their electricity. And they had been without electricity, last check, for over 24 hours. The temperatures are dropping. We're headed for winter. And here in North Alabama, the temperatures dropped roughly 20 degrees overnight. It was in the mid 40s this morning. So my question is, using the philosophy of one is none, two is one, and three is better, the individuals who lost power, did they have a redundancy to replace the power either with some form of solar or a fuel-operated generator to back up their freezers, refrigerators, and possibly provide some heat, maybe wood stoves and so forth. This is the importance of why, through Hope for Survival, that we train and we try to instill in folks that they prepare for every day. They don't approach with a prepper philosophy of preparing for the big one, if you will, or the doomsday event. We prepare for everyday life and the unknowns that can change our way of life. That being maybe a car wreck, some form of a health illness, something of that nature that could change our ability to provide resources for our family. So we prepare for that as well as natural and man-made type events that can occur daily. So these folks have been trying to recover from downed trees and damage and the return of electricity. So if you don't have a redundant system, you may want to consider addressing it ASAP. The other issue I wanted to address was the upcoming election. There's numerous rumors taking place around the country as to riots and anarchy in the streets of our country. Some are saying regardless of who wins, neither candidate will meet the demands of what these individuals want to have delivered. And of course, others are saying if President Trump wins this election, then chaos will ensue and so forth. So my point here is I would highly encourage you that by Sunday evening, you have dusted off your preparedness plans, your emergency plans. You address all resources and determine anything that you may still need in the event this chaos does ensue, that you can basically remain part of the 5% and lock in away from any type of event that's occurring that could cause harm to you or your family. Basically get out of the box, monitor what's going on in your 5-mile radius, and make sure that you have all those items. You want to stay out of the box and left of bang. Okay. One of the other rumors that has been somewhat substantiated is that with all the COVID increases occurring around the nation, some states are considering going back to a phase 1 lockdown. of the entire state. I have heard this from that at least 2, maybe 3 states, and who knows how many more are considering taking these measures to lock everyone down again to try to slow down the spread of COVID-19. Now, we could have debates all day over what is COVID-19 and so forth. That's not my point here. My point is simply that a decision to lock down a state is the cause, and what is the effect to you. So basically, if you're outside the hurricane area in the south and you're watching this, you have 2 reasons to really enforce your preparedness plans and measures. That being the election coming up and the unknowns, and the COVID-19 as well. These are 2 reasons that can prolong the time that you're going to have to stay in your home, and potentially not have the ability to get out. If you do have the ability to get out and go to stores, do you really want to? Right? Do you want to be around other individuals? There may be limited supplies. Most stores, fuel, and pharmacies, in most cases, are stocked for 3 days of supplies. If individuals start hoarding resources, where is that going to leave you? Right? Fighting over toilet paper, fighting over bread and ice cream. Is that what you really want? So get what you need, get some extra cash if you can, and basically pull yourself back and away. Get back away from the 95 percenters. Set up your determine your needs and set everything up for yourself, and basically sit back and stay off the radar. Okay? So again, 1 is none, 2 is 1, and 3 is better. Keep that in mind, especially if you were one of the folks that lost power and you do not have a redundancy. You want to have a redundancy in everything you do and the resources that you have. Okay, you want to have multiple levels or methods to prepare the food that you have procured. What good is it to you if you can't boil water, right? Is your propane tanks full on your grill? If you don't have electricity to run your stove, how are you going to heat water? So give these things some thought. Put forth the effort to take care of yourself and be self-reliant. So again, I wish you the best. Prayers to you and prayers to our country, and that we may all come through this and everything be calm. If I were a betting person, I would probably bet that would not be the case. However, hopefully we're all far enough off the radar that we're not going to have direct impacts. You know, we may endure some delivery trucks not being able to make it in, supply chains being broken because the semis can't get up and down the highways, and things of that nature. So these are all things you got to take into consideration, but primarily focus on that 5-mile radius around where you're at. There's numerous folks right now who suffered from the first lockdown of COVID-19. Many businesses shut down, mom and pop restaurants, stores, and so forth in our smaller communities are out of business. Winter's approaching. It's going to be colder. If they are renters, many of the states' COVID-19 laws keeping renters safe in their residences. They could not be evicted if they couldn't pay their rent. Most of those laws per state are expiring. We were down to 21 states. I believe 20 or 21 states will expire, I believe, coming the end of this month, this weekend. They will have to pay all their past due rent or they'll face eviction. So they won't have a place to live. They may not have had money to buy food. So they won't have shelter, they won't have food. They're going to need support, but also you need to protect yourself from individuals who may want to take what you have. Okay, so give that some thought. Remember, keep the hope. don't be overwhelmed, and hopefully we'll get through this to the other side without incident. So be blessed, keep praying, and remember, we can do this, okay? Thanks for tuning in to Hope for Survival. If you want to send me a message, you can send it to preparedness101@protonmail.com. Visit our website at www.hopeforsurvival.com. And until next time, Bravo Echo.